President Trump nominated Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. But if he's confirmed by the Senate, would he faithfully uphold the Constitution? I'm Robin Kinderman, and you're watching JBS Straight Talk. On Monday night, President Trump officially nominated Judge Brett Kavanaugh of the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy. If the Senate agrees with Trump's pick, what could we expect from a possible Justice Kavanaugh? Bob Adelman, writing for the New American, says, "Constitutionalists were hoping that Trump's pick would be an originalist, someone who believes that the Constitution should be understood on the basis of what it actually says and the intent of the people who drafted it. But although Kavanaugh has stated that judges should not make law, his judicial record shows that he relies heavily on past judicial precedents that have often been in conflict with the clear language of the Constitution." Despite supporting religious liberty in the famous case Priests for Life versus Health and Human Services, Adelman notes that Kavanaugh roused concern among religious conservatives by including the following line: "The Supreme Court precedent strongly suggests that the government has a compelling interest in facilitating access to contraception for the employees of these religious organizations." And in another case, Adelman states, "Kavanaugh also noted that precedent, to him, carries the weight of settled law. All parties to this case recognize Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey as precedents we must follow." I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court can overturn previous rulings. Just one of the examples Adelman mentions is how the Supreme Court corrected itself in 1954 with its opinion in Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas, which overrode Plessy v. Ferguson, in which the court ruled that Louisiana's separate but equal facilities law were constitutional. Precedent is not everything, nor is it the final authority when it comes to the laws of our country. The Constitution is. And while Kavanaugh certainly does possess some impeccable conservative credentials, President Trump could certainly have done better, nominating someone that adheres to and defends the Constitution more so than following precedent. An excellent educational resource about the Constitution that discusses the proper role of the Supreme Court is our Restoring the Rights of the States and the People booklet, written by John McManus, President Emeritus of the John Birch Society. On page 21, he writes, "A widely held notion regarding the work of the judicial branch claims it is the duty of the justices to interpret the Constitution. Is that correct? Or is it their task only to rule about the constitutionality, or lack thereof, of what is presented to them for judgment?" That's an excellent point. The Constitution does not need interpretation. It needs to be obeyed. The proper criteria for any Supreme Court justice is not that they will interpret the Constitution or their adherence to past court rulings or precedents, but rather to determine whether a law in question is constitutional or not. But we don't place our hopes in rebuilding our republic squarely in the hands of the judiciary, the president, or the Congress. The action plan of the John Birch Society takes place locally. We educate ourselves to inform others in order to recruit them to do the same. So we recommend getting several copies of this booklet at shopjbs.org to educate yourself and then give away to inform others. Links to both the booklet and Adelman's article are in the description. So until next time, take care and God bless.